I can't play scary games. I full stop, I can't do it. They're too scary, and I get it. That's the point. Like, yeah, and I enjoy that little bit of a, whoa, it's like going on a roller coaster. Whoa, what's gonna happen? Oh, that's right, we're safe. The thing that gets to me isn't the initial scare, or it does get to me, but the thing that really gets to me is afterwards. The mind games, my mind plays with me. It doesn't let me sleep. It's like, Eric, guess what? 2 o'clock? Yeah, you're not going to sleep, buddy. To me, it's almost like a tolerance level. I have a very low tolerance level, my brain does anyway, to the scares and to be able to cope with that. And some people have different tolerance levels, very high tolerance. Like they're able just to block that stuff out after. My mind can't do that. It's almost like playing an RPG. Some people can get very frustrated really quickly at just the grinding in an RPG. Where like, I'm like, woohoo, let's keep on doing this. Hey. You know what just sucks, but absolutely sucks a lot out of that. I really want to play them and I can't. Like, there's this physical thing inside my brain that says you can't play these games. And that's why I loved Luigi's Mansion so much. It finally said, Eric, you can play a horror game. And I was like, wait, me? Me? You made a horror game for me? And they did. They took the gun out and replaced it with a vacuum. They took the zombies out and replaced it with colourful ghosts. And I loved it for that. I loved that I finally got to explore this big haunted mansion and go collect keys without having to worry about not sleeping the next night. And it was right at this stage that, Nintendo's always done this, but it was right at this stage when Nintendo started to nail this design. What I like to call their Nintendo's delightful design, where they take principles from other games and just put their own Nintendo twist on it. They put the Nintendo feeling over this game. You know, it's like what they did with Paper Mario. They take the RPG formula and they say, you know what, RPGs are now paper, and you now have a turtle with anxiety for a partner. And instead of the princess being, I don't know, in love with the hero, the princess is now having a computer fall in love with her. And there's that weird shower scene. Terrible example, but my point still stands. Nintendo just make delightful experiences and put spins on genres that I wouldn't be normally able to play. Like, I'm not that much into shooters. And then they made Splatoon and I was like, wow, I'm finally into a multiplayer shooter. I'm going too far ahead in the future. Let's get back to the past. So first of all, I wasn't even going to come in here and talk about 3 because I thought, you know what? I haven't played 2, but then I kind of thought about it and I thought, I can offer a different perspective here. From someone who's played the first game, but not the second, and then talk about the third. And I think I want to start with probably my favorite thing about the series in general, the series that you've played one game of, Eric, and that's the puzzle design, because I feel like that's what makes this game what it is to me. It makes it an adventure game. It's like playing, you know, one of those old adventure games, except with less one-liners from Guybrush Threepwood and more Mario. I think what I'm trying to say is, I love the way that when you enter a room, it feels like you've just walked into like, what are those escape rooms called that you have to escape rooms? You walk into a room and you're like, there's a guy in a rocking chair, the carpet's on fire here, why is the piano trying to attack me? Of course there's the action side to it as well, where you gotta suck the ghost up, but even that itself can be puzzles, and I feel like that's when the ghosts are at their best, when there is a bit of a puzzle. Even in the trailer here, you notice that there's a ghost flicking up the carpet. And now, to my hope is that you just can't go suck that ghost up. There's a puzzle to how you get close to him or how you stop him from flicking the carpet to be able to suck him up in the first place. I mean, that's why I love the portrait ghost in the first one, is that they took this puzzle level and took it to the next level of actually trying to figure out how to get this portrait ghost to be capturable in the first place. That is alone with the puzzle, and then you got to battle the portrait ghost. That's Luigi's Mansion at its core to me. While we're on the combat a little bit here, let's talk about those gates that just come down, because again, remember, I didn't play Dark Moon, but they appear to lock you in that area, and I hope they don't appear too often. To be quite frank, it just seems like a bit of a lazy design to lock you in the area and just say, all right, beat this ghost and then you can move on. It should just be beat this ghost because you need to for the puzzle, not beat this ghost because we're locking you here and now you gotta do it. So I am just hoping it's kind of for that cutscene at the start and maybe boss fights and things like that, and then they leave it separate from the rest. Although I do like the idea of this new plunger, and I hope that adds some other stuff similar to that, or just other stuff to play around with your abilities. The more abilities that Luigi has, the more puzzle solving you can do with the different abilities. Like, it's not just sucking things up with a vacuum in that stage and moving objects around. It now becomes like, well, what can I shoot a plunger into that has the string on it? You know, that seems like it can definitely be used in some interesting ways. Now let's talk about these captured characters that you see at the start. That's what I'm assuming here anyway, because you see Toad and Luigi and Mario and Peach all with their names crossed out, which assumes that they're all at the hotel here and they've all been captured and maybe just Luigi's managed to escape. I do hope though that, I don't know, the rest of the characters don't escape. Like, I don't want to play as Mario. I don't want to play as Peach. This is Luigi's mansion. This isn't Toad's mansion. It is Luigi's mansion. It's not Peach's mansion. It's not Mario's mansion. And I just don't think the game would suit them. Luigi's such a scaredy cat that it wouldn't suit Mario or Peach. It probably would suit Toad. But like, it just wouldn't make sense. Plus, I really want to see the return of Mario. Which makes me wonder, are we going to get a Peach and a Toad this game? Or are they just going to be like Mario and that's it? And then if you can play as the other characters, is it going to be like Luigi? Or like, what are they going to do? I don't know. I don't know. Even Luigi has his signature humming when he walks around the room. So I hope they don't lose that side of it as well. I don't know if they did for Dark Moon, but that's kind of what made the first game so fun. It's like when there were ghosts around and Luigi's like... It does make me wonder though whether we will see a multiplayer of any kind. Because we know that Nintendo has just been throwing multiplayer at like every chance they get at a Switch game. Every single Switch game, like Mario Maker 2 is coming out. The biggest feature that seems to be something that's possible that we don't actually know about, so I can't call it a feature yet, but it's almost confirmed that there's going to be some sort of multiplayer with that. And it just seems to be getting thrown into almost every game, apart from like Mario Odyssey and Breath of the Wild. Most of their other big games are like, here's multiplayer for you. So I'm just not sure whether they'll take the same approach with this, or whether they'll be like, no, Luigi's Mansion has a vision for a single player game, keep it that way. I mean, they changed the first one to multiplayer when they brought it over to the 3DS, so all bets are off. Luigi's Mansion 3 really has its work cut out for it this year though. I mean, not that it's not going to be a great game, and not that it's like not going to sell well, but when it's compared to the other games that are going to come out this year, I mean, have a listen to this. We've got Animal Crossing, we've got Pokemon, we've got Fire Emblem, and we've got Mario Maker. So that really kind of puts in perspective about where Luigi's Mansion sits for this year. It's such a massive game, and yet it's got these other behemoths, the giants. Behemoth's probably bigger than a giant, to battle here. I know personally, Luigi's Mansion is probably right up there above some of these for my favourite game that I'm looking forward to this year. But I do wonder how well it's going to do. I really do. Anyway, guys, that's going to do it for today. Thank you for tuning in. Remember, if you made it this far in the video and you liked what happened here, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. It'd be much appreciated. Let me know how you're feeling about Luigi's Mansion. And remember, for great 3, by the way, not just any Luigi's Mansion. And remember, for great Nintendo entertainment, remember, you can count on me. For today's end screen, for today's end screen, I just want to quickly mention that at the start, I kind of made it sound like I would like the horror genre. I hate horror. I can't stand horror. I can't stand blood and guts and bleh. What I like is the adventure side of the horror genre. So yeah, I made it very confusing at the start there, sounding like I love the horror genre, but I don't. I don't. I like the adventure side. I've made that clear now. Okay, goodbye.